Okay, so we're going to go over the do not sleep problem from CyberLab. In this problem, it says, I'm so tired, my eyes are droopy. Send me a text at flag@fullstackacademy.com to keep me awake. So what do we think that this means?
Sharing the screen, Frank.
No, I haven't shared the screen yet. I'm just asking kind of like, what do we think this even means?
Right.
Looking at the hint, it seems like it's a there's a TXT. There's something with TXT from DNS.
Yes.
That we're looking
So if we want to send a, it seems to me that it's saying that we want to send a TXT to flag that. Send a DNS record of TXT to flag.fullstackacademy.com. I think that's my first instinct. My VM is still booting up, so give me 1 second. Unless Matt, do you happen to have it up already? Do you have it? Can you?
Yeah, I can drive.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. Oh, nice. So what do we want to do here? Am I sharing? I'm sharing.
Yeah. So let's open up a terminal. And first, I like to use host. So let's take a look in the host. Let's look at the man page for host and see how we can send a DNS record, right?
Is there maybe a string I should search for? Maybe like.
No. Well, just select for. So there we go. Yeah.
Okay, so all I did was do / and then txt, so it would find that string, find that txt match right there.
All right, so it's just a host T, the query type that we want to do, and then I will just give the URL. So let's just do host T. Okay.
Then the URL is this. Oops. Oops. Got
All
something
right, so
back.
now we got a record back. Now, this is probably the flag, but it's not in the format that we wanted in. It looks to be some kind of encoding. Now, we're looking at these characters. Can we guess what kind of encoding it is?
Base 64.
All right, let's try that. So let's just go to CyberChef. Right there, let's do from base 64. And there we go. There's our flag. But let's say we didn't have CyberChef available to us. Let's go back to the terminal. And there's actually a basic. So one, there's tons of commands in the terminal. And sometimes it's like you want to know which, well, actually before you even do which base 64, if you're just trying to figure out if there's something that could do base 64, let's do man-k and then do base 64. So man, we all know as the database or the manual gives us the help page or the manual for commands, but you can also query the man database and get out to kind of search for like what's available, right? Like what kind of commands are available. So like, yeah, go ahead and go do that. And so there you go. Search the descriptions for man pages that have that. So even if before that, like let's quit this. So let's just say if we want, we know it's DNS, but what are our DNS tools that are available? Let's do man -k DNS. And here are a bunch of things that can do. This DNS one came back with a ton of stuff, but look, there's a whole bunch of things, and in amongst them, there's dig, there's host, there's DNS lookup utility. So sometimes if you're searching for something and you kind of know what to do, but you don't know how to do it, aside from Google, you can also just at your terminal kind of see like man -k and what you're trying to do and see if there's something, if there's a command available, and look through those commands and see if one of those you're familiar with and it's something that you can do. So man -k base64, if you still have that copy to your, what you call it? Yeah, so base64 encodes and decodes strings. So we want to give it a string to base64. So what we could just do, so if you see there, it can read from a file, but you can also just pipe commands to it. So we could just say echo, paste that text, and then pipe that through base64. And then to decode something is -D. I just happen to know that, but if you didn't know that, you could just man the page, and there you go, the same, there's your flag. There you go. What's another problem that we want to tackle this morning? Anyway, you can put it in chat if you don't want to unmute. All right, well then let's just go through some of these. I'll just pick one that I think sounds interesting. When this goes in.
I think we'd gone through all of net one. Transmission and capture. I know we haven't done interceptor together, but I know some students have been able to solve it.
All right, so let's do interceptor.
People want to go over interceptor?
Let's go over it.
All right, we're doing it. All right, I'll drive again.
All right. So interceptor, we found interceptor on a target, which is apparently a beacon for their activity. So in this case, this interceptor binary is calling home. We want to find out more about what's going on. So we need to find out what is the network traffic that this interceptor is sending. If we want to look at the network traffic that that this is sending, what do we do? Who's here? Dwayne. If we want to look at network traffic, we want to capture the network traffic. What's the tool that we use for capturing network traffic?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Network traffic, that would be Wireshark.
Right, exactly. So let's fire up Wireshark.
All right.
All right, so let's download that interceptor utility. So let's get that with W. Let's copy, right click and copy that link address. And then let's go to our terminal. Let's use wget. Yeah. And then give it that link to download it. All right, if we do an ls, there's our interceptor. Let's make it executable. And now let's start up Wireshark. Let's run Wireshark. And let's run interceptor. All right, Good. Let's stop the capture so we don't capture anything else that's going on in the background. And right off the start, what do we see? What's your IP address, Matt?
One nine two 168.40.191.
So let's do IP dot source equals that IP address. So we're putting in the display filter to filter out everything that we only look at what has a source of Matt's IP address. And let's go ahead and let's look at let's just take a look at. I want to see. So what I'm looking for is the SYN. So actually, let's go in your in that display filter and let's add something else to the display filter. Let's say and.
It's one and or two, I forget.
I think you just put the word and. That's the one I use, lowercase. And let's do TCP dot flags dot syn SYN equals 1 equals 1. And enter. Okay, so these are, if you remember back to how TCP works, when you're initially making a connection, the source will send a SYN, which will then be answered with a SYN and an ACK, and then your source will send back an ACK. So I'm looking for the SYN to see the conversations that were initiated from this IP address. And so here we have two, both to the same IP address. And let's just pick that first one and just do follow the TCP stream and see what we get here. Hi, it's Bugsy. Bugsy, I don't recognize the address. Okay, send me the password so I can be sure. Down here, wait, go bring back that
Oops.
window. Let's try clicking down in the bottom where you see stream to the right
Filter out the stream.
above find next.
Above find next. I'm sorry.
So above, go all the way to the right where there's a close button.
Yeah,
and then-
yeah.
And click up and let's just take a look at the next stream. So each stream has a number. And if you're looking at what you believe to be sequential traffic, sometimes if you want to see each part of the conversation, you can just use that, go to the next stream to see the next part of the conversation. So with that stream, you can just kind of, once you found one, you can, if it's all sequential, you can go up and down to see the next parts of the conversation. So if we go back to one, okay, boom, then we see more. This is more of that conversation with Bugsy. Says, I'm on a new target. Bugsy, I don't recognize, blah, blah, blah. Okay, send me the password so I can be sure. Okay, here it is. And then there's your flag. So that's one way of doing it. Let's close this and let's remove all the display filters. And so we know we're looking for a flag. We know full stack flags start with FS and then the curly bracket open, right? So how about we just search for that? This is just another way that we could possibly solve this. So we capture this traffic, click the little search. Let's change the string and then let's put in that FS curly bracket and hit find. And I think we're already on it, but yeah, if you look here in the packet bytes, you'll see in the bottom, what you call it? The bottom third, we'll see there's also the flag. And if we just right click and then follow the stream on the highlighted packet, again, this is another way to also bring us to that flag. So just a couple of different ways of solving that problem. And what else do we have? All right, so that's that one. Any questions about that one or either of the ones that we've gone over this morning? All right, let's go to another one.
I think we got all the good ones in net 2.
Let's go to net 3.
Frank, you have someone on the chat.
MD5 hash problem. Do you happen to remember? Was it corned beef and hash? Is that the one you're talking about?
These are ones we might want to come back to after bash scripting. But we
Say
can
yes.
do.
Yeah, but I think we can. What's the way we can do it without bash? We could do it. Well, let's just go through it because let's say if somebody has a question, let's just kind of go through it and we can kind of revisit it. But
All right.
all right, so I can't remember what I had for breakfast, blah, blah, blah. I know it was something like, and there's the flag XXX, where X is a number, but I don't remember exactly what number I use, blah, 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 blah. And I do still have that MD5 hash though, if that helps. So essentially what this problem is saying is we need to change the XXX to 3 numbers, and then the hash of that, the flag with the correct 3 numbers, that's the hash, that's the MD5 hash of it. So essentially what we need to do is generate a hash from 000 through 999 and MD5 hash each of them and find the one that gives us this hash. All right, let's go ahead and run through this. Let's go ahead and bring this up. Okay, so this is going to be kind of, I guess, an intro to bash scripting if you haven't done any bash scripting before. Let's make this your terminal bigger. And okay, so one, we need to loop, before anything, we need to loop through the numbers 000 through 999. So let's just do it right on the command line. Don't even open up a, not just yet, Matt. Let's just do a for loop on the bash shell. So with bash, you can do loops, and the format is, so we're gonna type for, and just like in Python, the next thing is gonna be a variable name that we're creating, and let's call it capital NUM. And then we're gonna say in, and now here comes where we want to get the numbers. So what we can do, if you look at, you can Google this, but essentially, if you use the curly brackets, you can create a sequence. And if we do curly bracket 000 ... 999, and then end the curly brackets, and then let's do new line do. Let's do put enter. And then type do, enter, and then let's make sure this works, and let's just do echo $ capital NUM, and then done. And let's see if this does what we're expecting. All right, and if we scroll up, let's make sure the 000s came out as expected.
I don't think we'll see them at the
It's
top.
not too much. All right, so let's just do 000 through 100, and make sure that we can make sure that the 000s are coming out correct. All right, so that's what we're expecting. That's the right output. Now we need to append this to that flag, or insert it into that flag, and from there, hash that. So let's do our for loop again. This time, so to delete everything up into echo. Yeah, now just hit enter. And let's do echo, double quotes. Let's type in that flag. So everything up until that first X. So yeah,
Up
from
until the
there,
X's.
And now what we want to do is we want to put $, and then the close brackets, and then close curly bracket, and then close quotes. And yeah, and let's do done. Enter done. All right, so that's outputting each number as we expected. Now we need to just pass that through MD5. Actually, let's just leave it at 100 for right now, because there's still another problem, right? Actually, like right before that semicolon, the semicolon right there. Yeah, close that and let's do space, pipe it through MD5. And now do semicolon done. Okay, so now we're getting the MD5s, but the problem is we're not getting the actual numbers. We're not getting the flag with the numbers, so we don't know which one is which. But essentially, after we found it, we'd have to count. So that's not a great solution. Well, or actually, we could do this. We could do this. I forgot about this. Let's do that. So right there, I see F11. Right, or actually, let's go to the first. Can you scroll all the way up to the top, Matt, to the very first MD5 that was printed out? Okay, so we know that one is 000, right? So let's grep for 9F36. Let's do the same thing, but then let's pipe it through grep. And was it 9F36? Yeah, just put 9F36. Yeah. 36. Yeah. And let's, okay, so that's that one. So let's do that again, but let's do grep minus N. And this will, I believe, give us the line numbers. So that's the line number of the number that generated it, but it's going to be -1, right? Because this was 0. It's going to, grep is going to number the first line as 1, but we're actually starting at 0, so we have to do -1. So now, if we, instead of grepping for that, we're going to be grepping for that hash in the problem prompt.
I'm just going to do the 999 too.
Yeah.
Is it? Oop.
Okay. That is curious. Exit code 1 general error. What could be, what's the error? All right, well, we can do it, well, let's do it a different way. Instead of piping it to grep, let's just write it to a file. Take that and write it to, yeah, there we go. And let's do WC minus L on hashes.txt and make sure we should get a 1,000 WC. Okay, now let's grep this file for the hash. You got to put the hash first.
What?
What? Okay. What is going on here? All right, do me a favor. Do grep. Say grep Frank from hashes.txt. Okay, so I think what that error is just saying that grep didn't find it. which is interesting. Okay, so then something is wrong with how we're generating the hashes.
Cabbage. Wait, that's not right.
MD5 hash. Oh, you know what? Let's do, on your echo, do echo dash n.
Uh,
So echo by default will add a new line. If we do dash n, that won't do the new line. And let's do that. Let's do, go ahead. That'll overwrite our hashes file with these new hashes. And now let's grep. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
It's there.
So now, okay. And now you can do grep dash n. And it's telling us it's 158. Remember, we need to minus 1, so 157. So let's just do that, but with 157. And let's check if that's the actual right answer. Well, let's check it
Okay.
on the command line first before you even put it in.
Okay.
So let's just echo that flag with 157. Minus n on the, I think you need to put the dash n first.
Oh, right.
Frank, there's a student asking on the chat about he has a different hash in his exercise.
That may be true because you might have your number, your flag is probably different. Everybody doesn't have the same flag. And like if you may have noticed when working with your
Okay.
partner, if you've going back to do the problem yourself, your partner, you might have had a different port than your partner, or the codes that you get in the flag. Like sometimes the flag have a 4-digit number at the end, or a 4-digit alphanumeric string at the end, or a 4-character alphanumeric string at the end, and yours and your partners don't necessarily match.
Why can't I do that?
Do echo dash and put it in quotes, and let's see if that makes a difference. And then pipe that through MD5. So, and there we go.
It's the same to me.
Yep.
All right. That brings us to 10.
How did you guys get rid of the error?
Oh, it's not actually an error. It's just my terminal is telling me it's an error if there is no match in grep.
The way match terminal is configured, it will print that error message if the command you gave doesn't exit with a successful. If the command doesn't end successfully, it's going to show that message. And grep wasn't successful because it wasn't finding the string that we were searching for. So it wasn't actually like an error, like something failed or something wrong. It was just, we told grep to find something and grep was like, I didn't find it. And that was being flagged as an error.
How do you guys find it the second time around? Well, when you guys.
So what happened, we were pretty confident in the approach. So then we had to look back and see if we were, you got to kind of, sometimes if you're pretty confident in the approach before you go move on and try something else, you want to just take a look at what you're doing and make sure that you've dotted all your I's and crossed your T's. And what the problem was, we didn't have the dash N. So echo, when it echoes something, so actually like, well, don't even do, well, actually go ahead and do that, Matt, but yeah. But actually, let's do this. Do echo something, just plain echo whatever. Right, so it echoed it, and then you see it came on with a new line. But now if you do echo dash N, and you see how the command is the next prompt is on the same line as the output, that's because the output did not have a new line at the end. So as soon as the output ended, the command prompt was printed right there on that same line. By default, echo is going to add a new line to whatever it echoes so that your prompt then comes on the next line in the terminal. And that's usually the behavior that you want, but sometimes that's not the behavior that you want. So this MD5 hash, we were hashing that text, but exactly that text. So even though you don't see that new line was being included in what was being sent to the MD5 hash, right? And we didn't need it. We needed just the text. So echo-n removes the new line that echo automatically outputs. And then after that, we were getting the correct hash. Because remember, if it's off by 1 bit, whatever you're putting into MD5, you're going to get a completely different hash.
Gotcha. Cool. Thanks.
All right. Let's just take 2 minutes. Let's come back at 10:06, and then I'll get started with our lecture for the day.